We are live. Superb.
Hello.
Right. I better stop. I've just got to pause things and mute them so that, when you get that playing thing. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tat Chat number 87. As you can see from the title, we have got today with us Ryan, who's got like a YouTube channel called Doing It Yourself Lifestyle, and he's very active on Instagram, and you've got his hashtag RyanFit247 hashtag in title as well. So hopefully we're going to have a great chat. So hi, Ryan.
Hello.
We've got already 28 people watching, which is absolutely fantastic. So say a few hellos. We've got Peter Ray, Jason Entwistle, Jake Birch, Paul Mosley, Lisa's in the chat as well. Hi, Lisa. Pete's Retro Collectibles, Bum Crack Picker. What a name that is, eh? I mean, I wish I had thought of that one.
Yeah, he was first in the chat, was he?
Yeah, he's just brilliant. Yeah. Slim Pickings says, I'm hungry. I'm hungry always as well. Chris Newton, Mir Cameron, Ali, John Morris, Blitz has joined us, Richard Payne as well, Hixie has joined us as well, Gary Nicholson, Diesel Engine Freak. So thank you everybody for joining us. Like I said, today's guests, we've got Ryan. So we're going to have a little chat about how he got into this, what he enjoys about it, etc. It's always nice to get another perspective. So first of all, Ryan, could you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Ryan. I live in Wales.
Oh, really? What gave that away?
I don't sound very Welshy to me, but when I get flowing, it's all right. I do a little bit on YouTube for reselling, not a lot. I enjoy Instagram a lot more because it's a lot quicker. So you can just do a quick video, no tags required really. I've been reselling for about 4 or 5 years now on Amazon and eBay. I did have a little eBay shop when I was 18, so about 11 years ago, 12 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of went out of it for 4 or 5 years. Just because working 9 to 5 is easier really, than grafting it in the house. So
yeah, definitely. So you said overall you started your eBay first when you were like 18, and
yeah.
like was that like did you get any initial idea that this might be where you end up working, or was it more just for a bit of fun to buy and sell a few bits that you had? It was just casual.
Well, when I was 18, I sold like some stuff from the house as you do, PlayStation 2 games at the time or whatever. Yeah. But then I opened a fishing shop. It was a store on eBay, but my niche, as they say, was just fishing stuff, because I found a wholesaler of an unbranded fishing supplier, and I just started selling everything they had in their wholesale place.
Oh, cool.
So I was turning over something like £500 or £600 a month. But the thing was, I was working 9 to 5, and I just thought, well, it's easier to work 9 to 5, I'm doing this wholesale gig, and the money wasn't as much as I was earning 9 to 5,
So you took a little bit of a step back at that point.
Well, I did it for about a year, 2 years, I think it was, and I just couldn't get over that £500-600 turnover, So I was like, right, I'll just do more hours in work.
So you decided what I did. Okay. So it was even back then you sort of had that was your initial thought though, to start a store up at 18. I mean, I've got to tell you, at 18 my brain was even more immature than it is now. So like that for me would have been an achievement, like in a big way. So even at that young age to actually say, I'm gonna start a store and get yourself a wholesale contact and do that shows that you kind of have it in you, as it were, right?
I enjoy the process. That's what it is.
But that's excellent. And then but you decided it wasn't quite working how you'd like. You took a step back, and then what kind of dragged you back in, or what was it that maybe?
Well, I got a son who's 6. So about 6 years ago, I was working 3 jobs. I was working like 6 in the morning till 12, then 2 till 4, and then 6 in the afternoon till 9, I think it was. So these 3 jobs, working 5-6 days a week. And then I found out I could sell some stuff on Amazon. So I started selling on Amazon, slowly. Bit of retail arbitrage, really. That's all it was.
Right.
And then I got quite heavy into Amazon about a year after my son was born.
Oh, right.
So that started to not taking off, but I was putting more effort in, and then I slowly, you know, the 3 jobs I had originally, I was dropping one job, then dropped another job, and then I finally dropped the last job then within that year, you know.
Oh, so so overall, so was that like so it's 5 years ago that you kind of became full time?
Yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah, I got
Wow.
into it about a year before I went full time.
And the majority of the majority of that was your Amazon, you'd say, that kind of won you your freedom from 3 jobs.
Yeah,
and that was all within 1 year.
Yeah, it took. Well, the thing was, I've gone from a point of living with my parents 6 years ago. I now own my own house and, well, 2 cars.
Oh wow!
And yeah, one's work, one's for fun, and you know, I got a mortgage in that time and everything. But it was only because I had a son, really. If I didn't have a son, I'd still be living with my mum, and I'd probably have just a nicer car, really, and I wouldn't care about anything else. You know?
That's fantastic. It just shows what's achievable when you put in that level of work. I mean, I don't know because I've never done 3 jobs. So it's not something. Just to quickly pop back in the chat because quite a few people saying hi. Gary Nicholson says hi, Ryan. Blitz, like I said, has joined us from the other side of the world. Lisa says it's lovely to meet you. Mornamu32 says, love your Instagram, Ryan. Been following you for a while now. So that really is the place where you're more active, isn't it?
I just enjoy it because even I've tried to go live on YouTube a few times, but even then you got to put in your tags and everything. It just takes, you know, even if it takes 10 minutes longer than normal, it's 10 minutes that Instagram wouldn't cost me. So
yeah,
it's just easier, really.
Darren Smart has joined us as evening all. Phoebe says hi to got you on the big TV tonight. So we're on the big telly, which is fantastic. Jason Entwistle is. Oh yeah, definitely. Jason Entwistle has joined us. Lisa's surprised that I could be even more immature, says it's not possible. So that's cool. Ads has joined us as well. So yeah, a lot of people. We've got 67 people in the chat. So welcome everyone. For everyone that doesn't know, this is Ryan. We're just going through really his reseller journey so far, which is pretty interesting. So far, we've established that within a year, you were able to cut down from 3 jobs to 0 by working really hard on your Amazon FBA business. And 6 years later in total, I guess you could say you're now owning your own home and, you know, got a couple of cars, one for work, one for play. And then when did eBay come into all of this? Because obviously eBay is something that a lot of people are going to be more kind of in tune with, I guess.
Yeah. Well, eBay was always kind of like a side thing for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know if you get returns from Amazon, I put returns on eBay, and I just bundle things up together. So if I got like damaged returns, you know, just customers just trying it out, didn't like it, Amazon won't sell it back on their platform. Not even used, I don't think they'll sell it. They'll just send it straight back to you. So eBay's always just kind of been in the background, kind of, and that's it really. It's always been there, you know. And at eBay, I enjoy the process of eBay, but there's 2 things I don't really like with eBay: is storing the stuff at the house, and the packing. It's just those 2 things, you know. Everything else is great.
And so you've kind of, it's about learning what you're capable of doing and not. And if something really does grind your gears like that, then it's smart to focus on a way of doing things that, you know, aren't like that, right? So you've obviously looked at both and you've decided, well, FBA for you holds that advantage, right? That you don't have to kind of store the stuff like you said, and then you're just kind of, that's kind of interesting. But you don't see do you get like enjoyment for going out to boot fairs? Do you source by going to boot fairs at all, or do you what's your main method of sourcing then? Because I'm guessing with it mainly being Amazon, it's not going to be boot fairs.
Well, the thing is, now I'm in a transition going over to eBay a lot more. So currently things are different to what it was, say, 6 months ago. But say 6 months ago, I would go to car boots, not as much as I do now. Like now I go every Saturday, every Sunday without fail.
Yeah.
I go to maybe 50 charity shops a week, maybe, you know, on a normal week. If I'm having a lazy week, maybe 50. 1 or 2. Yeah. Well, I do like 4 or 5 towns, see? So there's like 8 to 12 in each town. So it could be more than 50, but You know, not any less.
Wow. Okay,
How many are you hitting over there?
Yeah. This interview's for you, Ryan. So we'll just.
Oh, you've got one nice little gem, haven't you, that you like?
Yeah, I think, like I said, everyone works differently, right? And I think it depends on how you like to do things, and
Yeah.
and sometimes you go through phases. You know, there are times where you know, like you said, you weren't going to boot fairs as often previously, but you are now. So even though at the moment we're not really doing many charity shops, I'm sure again at some point in the future we will. It just it's about going with what you need to do at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So you quite would you say you're quite like a consistent person, as in do you have it all set out that you're going to visit X amount of charity shops and X amount of boot sales?
Not really. You know, I've gone late to boot sales. You know, I don't really think, right, I got to hit 50 charity shops this week. But the thing is, because I'm in the eBay frame of mind now, not so much Amazon.
Yeah.
And I do kind of think to myself, right, I need to just buy as much stock as I possibly can, you know?
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to like look into buying a unit maybe, or get an office built, you know, because the storage at my place now, I could store a lot more upstairs.
Yeah.
But you know what it's like, you know, when you was in your old place, you used to store them upstairs, didn't you? And
Yeah,
it's just going upstairs, bringing it down, you know, it's just a hassle in it, and taking it up in the first place too. So I'm just trying to minimize the hassle of it all, really.
And also with stock, as you know, when you bring it into the house, if you allow it to, it will take it over.
Yeah.
So
it's already taken over, you know.
Yeah, so
like this is my office upstairs.
Yeah.
And but them racking have just popped back a couple of weeks back, just because I'm getting more into eBay, you know.
Okay.
So
okay, cool. And that's led me on to another question. Like, how are you finding the transition, and what's the main reason for you wanting to transition a bit more from when I just said how are you finding the transition, and that was it made me think, okay, wrong topic. But you know,
there's only one transition from Amazon to eBay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, like, you know, what was the major driving reason for you to start to shift your focus more on eBay, and maybe what are you finding to be the main challenges?
To be honest, eBay's always been a part of my life, even in my personal life, because I sell a lot. I used to sell a lot of personal stuff on eBay anyway, you know, for family, for friends, you know, and myself too. So, because I used to, years and years ago, when I had that fishing shop, I used to sell a lot of car parts, because I was into like the old Renault with Clio and stuff. So I used to sell a lot of car parts. So I had, like, not a store, but I used to have like 200 items of car parts at one point.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a store, you know, it was on my personal account, and it was a car that I used to have. Now I'm going over to eBay because Amazon's fees are so expensive. They've taken out so much of my margin. And the thing is, I do a lot of retail arbitrage, you know, and you just can't make as much as you used to. Like 4 years ago, you could make some serious money doing it. Now, you're not even making half of what I used to make, you know. So.
And what about sending used to Amazon? Have you done any of that, or is not really?
I haven't done a lot. No, you know, I'm thinking about it. You know, I've sent some stuff up, like PlayStation 2s, controllers, you know, that kind of thing, like used games, used DVDs. I have done a bit, but not to the scale that I do my RA kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I've seen some of the RA shipments you've sent off.
Yeah. I haven't really shown a lot of my RA stuff, just because.
Yeah.
Well, some of it's from January, you know, but the thing is, if you're picking up stuff yesterday, I can't spend £1,000 yesterday and then show it all yesterday.
Yeah.
Because then my competition is going to be twice as much, you know.
Of course.
As nice as people are, they're just going to see an opportunity and jump on it.
Of course. Peter Cummins has a question. Says, does Ryan use OA software like FBA Wizard, or have you delved into that?
I have got FBA Wizard, yeah, and I was like one of the first subscribers, so I only pay like, I think it's £40 or £45 a month for. I think it's like £80 now. Might be even more. I'm not sure. So it's doubled in price since I subscribed to it. It used to be really good. That's another thing. You know, I used to scan stuff like stores, and used to find really good deals. Now, you know, you scan something, there'll be like a good deal at Tesco, say.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. I tried to buy 200 units of a product the other day. They just cancelled my order. Because the thing
Right.
is, in my mind, I think, right, if they've only got 182 of them at this price, I'll just buy the 182. You know, if it's an okay seller. So they just cancel your orders now, which they never used to do, see, 2 years ago, not even last year. So,
Because it's becoming more prolific and more
well,
and more.
some people are spending crazy money on RA, you know, like in America, they spend like crazy money, but over here, people are starting to do it a lot more.
It's a different world.
So,
Like when I hear
yeah,
you talking about buying that kind of volume, and
yeah,
you know, it's a completely different way of earning income.
yeah.
Miss Chick is in the chat, says big fan of Ryan from Instagram. Um,
Yeah, I've
so
talked to her a few times, I think.
yeah, yeah, epic. Falling on a bruises in here as well now. Let's have a look. Keep propping down. Wow. Um, okay. He's a hard worker, is Ryan, says Miss Chick. Yep. Ryan, you don't
You
sleep
proud.
as much as Z, says Gary.
How
So,
many hours you get in a day, Easy?
oh, you know, I've got to get my
Be
beauty sleep.
honest.
Honestly, I don't know because it tends to be kind of random. Like, you know,
Is it like a
like
minimum 10
I'll be
hours?
sat here and I'll fall asleep in the chair. You know, like
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, you know, Grandpa Simpson in The
yeah.
Simpsons where he just falls asleep randomly. I'm like that.
You only feel
Um,
like a grandpa after you wake up, though.
oh, yeah, much. Um, Krillin has super chatted $2 to ask a question. Z, ask how big his death piles are. A, do you
Pretty
have
big.
death
Yeah.
you do have death piles, and they're big. When you say pretty big, what do you mean?
Well, I've got about close to £8,000 of RA stock just sitting there doing nothing at the
Waiting,
minute. Yeah,
waiting
waiting
for
to send it
Q4.
up. But that's £8,000 of cost price to me, so I don't know what it might sell for until I go back and check it all. And
Wow.
eBay, I've gone into. I was talking to your wife,
Yep.
Rebecca, about this. Don't know if you know about her Instagram chats, but
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
been
yeah.
chatting on there. And I was like I was saying, I was getting into clothing on there, and I got an assistant to process the clothing. So basically, my assistant just I give her the clothes. She irons it, bags it, measures it, does the pictures, and then I pick it back up,
Oh
and then I
wow.
list it. So she's doing the bit I don't like, if you know what I mean.
Fair enough.
But my death pile of clothing, I've got, I don't know, maybe 1,000 pieces that needs to be sent to.
See, this is like a trait I notice when I talk to like other resellers, and it's this all or nothing attitude
Well, you
that,
got them,
that
haven't you?
yeah, I mean it's have you always had this? Like you don't do things by halves. When you do something,
Well, the
that's
thing
it.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, with RA, like it's easy to go to a boot sale and say no to things. But if you like
Yeah.
do an RA, for example, or you're going to come across, like I always check how much quantity a website's got of something, and I'll just take the lot. Because if the deal makes sense for 10 units, it makes sense for 1,000 units. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So why
exactly.
just
Because
buy 10? The only reason you buy in 10 is because you can't afford the
the
80 odd or whatever they got,
yeah,
which makes sense. Just buy 10 if you can't afford it.
but
But like I've
but if you
saved,
can,
yeah,
yeah,
I saved up a lot into the business, so it allows me to pop on a big deal. But
right.
it is expensive sometimes, and it's a bit clenchy.
Let's get into what are the things that you most like selling when it comes to eBay, and what are the things that you actively avoid, or is now that you have an assistant? I mean, does the assistant solely deal with clothes,
Yeah,
or do you
just clothing like
just clothes?
jackets, shirts, dresses. No shoes, just clothes. Wearable stuff.
Right. Okay.
So,
So what would you say are your most the items that you're most excited about hustling and flipping versus
I get
items?
excited about all sorts. I actually sold a couple of weeks back a brand new links set. Do you remember Nick was saying
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
So I
The
seen these the other day, and I was like, my heart started going. They're only worth like 50, 60 quid, but
yeah.
it's just that excitement. And then when you ask how much it is, £2, yeah, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
take it. But
So
some things I buy on a punt and they turn out to be, as good as that, but I don't get excited about them.
is it because you expect them to be that profitable, or is it just because, or is it the links thing because you saw Nick share that, so
Yeah, I think it's
seeing
the
it?
it's the
Yeah.
it's the it's the hunt, isn't it? That's what it is with eBay, I guess. Well, car boots, charity shops, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get a
So
great buzz though going in Tesco's and looking for stuff too. Do you know what I mean? Not sketchy, getting questioned on the way out.
So it's more about just the flip. You get the buzz off the flip, so you'll
Yeah.
pretty much pick up anything. So you haven't got any particular preference of
No, I
things.
sewed, do you know one of those manual sewing machines?
Oh
It's
right, yeah,
the
yeah.
big
The old,
cast iron black things.
yeah,
I
yes,
took
yeah.
one of those to Australia randomly the other week. Some guy paid to get it to Australia through GSP.
Wow,
You know, they pay crazy money. But
I
loads
can
of this
imagine.
like clothing and stuff I sell goes abroad as well, which is quite mad, really.
So you are a true generalist, then you'd say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I
And
think that's a good way to be in it overall.
I think so. I think it makes it a bit easier on you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because if you're like you said, you've had experience in the past where you've had a niche,
yeah,
um, and the niche topped out for you, so you felt like a bit, where do I go from here? Whereas if you're a generalist, you're not necessarily thinking, you don't have to worry so much, because
yeah.
even if one part of your inventory may go slow or stale or whatever, you hopefully have a completely different selection of items that are still popular and selling.
Yeah, it's like Amazon. You've got to be able to change. If you're not happy with the platform, like Amazon taking, slightly over 40 to 50% in some cases, depending on the products.
Right.
You've got to move on. And when you look at eBay taking, what do they take in total? About 15%, is it?
Yeah.
Just a little bit less than that. You've got to go over to that platform really, and you're slightly better off actually turning over less, but earning more profit on eBay than you are doing Amazon.
A
So
lot of people are actually agreeing with you. I think Pete's Retro Collectibles has bought an interesting lot of items. Was it a Veggie Seal this week?
do you
But
use it or
I
you
don't
using it?
know. But yeah, a lot of people are actually agreeing with you in regards to the fees. That it is getting a bit eye watering, as Sibk has just said.
Yeah,
It is starting to get a bit high, and I think there's the long term storage fees as well, which is a bit
yeah,
of an issue. So yeah, Kirsten has also joined us. We've actually got 83 people watching us now, Ryan. That's
that's great.
fantastic. Adrian Turner's got a little question for you in the chat. He asks, what has been the most valuable item you have found? That's always a good one.
Well, I've sold cars before, but
Oh, there we go.
I bought cars just to flip a few years back. But really, I wouldn't really find it then. I don't really know, to be honest. I find a fair few things that are worth. I sold some DJ decks that I picked up for 40 quid for 290, I think it was.
Wow, that's a great flip. And where was
Yeah,
that? What pickup was? Where did you get that from?
that one was from auction. Just no one else bidded on it.
Oh, okay.
I've
So
had a couple of over £200. Not much over three though, really. Not on eBay. But as I
well,
say, I've only been on eBay a
that's
few
still a
months.
pretty chunky sell there, Ryan. I mean, actually
Yeah.
getting on top of that. What kind of you're sourcing? So you've got charity shops, boot fairs. You mentioned auctions. At the moment, what would you say is bringing you the most rewards? Like, what would you say to someone who's getting into this, where they should be looking to kind of get a decent amount of stock?
Well, auction's probably the best place to go.
Oops.
Is that a sale?
No. No, sorry, don't worry about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Auctions, I would say, are the best place to go, just because the sheer amount of quantity. Like the auction I go to is about 2,000 or 3,000 lots every week, without
Wowza.
fail. Yeah, so you can go there, spend. Well, a couple of weeks back. I might have been, when was it? About three or 4 weeks back. I spent £1,900 in one auction, including the VAT.
Wow. So
Um, yeah, it
you
was
do.
2 car trips.
Wow.
But it is only 10 minutes down the road, so it's not too bad. But that's the thing. You either like the thing is generally I bid on about 200 items per week. Now sometimes there's been weeks where I've won 100 items, and then some weeks I've won 10. But the thing is, I just put in what I'm willing to pay, and that's what I'm willing to pay. It's not, you can't go over it. It's just, it is what it is.
So you kind of you're quite disciplined at auctions then, which is quite good. I find it a bit of a
Yeah.
struggle personally.
Well, the thing is, this one's all online, so
Okay.
it's no, you can sit there, and I have sat there before, especially like some RC cars I saw. I had Maplins do like those big monster 4x4 trucks.
Right.
And they were doing those are like 4, 5, 6, you know, just like spares and repairs. But even, you know, spares and repairs, they go for good money.
Right.
So I'm sitting there like sniping them. Not sniping them because there's like 10 other people doing it as well. So we're all like this.
Bidding them up.
Yeah.
And it adds like an amount of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the one I go to is 20% VAT and 20% buyer's premium as well.
Adam Kelsey says, ask him about his bags of Lego.
Bags of Lego, yeah.
What do you have to say about that? Is that something?
God, if there is a Lego sorter in the Wales area, let me know, because I need one as soon as possible.
So I've
got about 8 to 9 bags full.
Wow.
Like black bags full. Because if I see them, I'm going to pick them up, you know. But I literally just haven't touched them. I haven't even looked at it through them for minifigures because I got so much other stuff going on. I just haven't got time, you know. So
but you've got time to buy them.
Plenty of time to buy them. The thing is, it's easy to buy stuff, isn't it? You know the score. You just.
Well, you say that. Not everybody finds it super easy, and you do have to get yourself situated. I think it's easy to say that when you're you know, like yourself, you're used to it. You've got no qualms about spending the money. I mean, Lego sometimes people can ask a good amount of money, or even the DJ decks you talked about. I mean, you spent 40 quid on them. Not everyone's going to be willing to do that, especially at an auction where they may not have been able to test them or whatever. Gary Nicholson has a question. I asked Ryan, you don't obviously have to answer this, but what do you pay your assistant to do the clothing?
I pay up per item.
There we go. That's probably the smartest way of doing it.
It depends, really. I told her that going forward, because it's a new niche for me, clothing or niche or whatever, basically I want to get to 1,000 bits of clothing on my store and just kind of see what the turnaround on that 1,000 items is. And I know quantity isn't everything, but I think with 1,000 items of clothing, it'll be more steady than having 100 items, you know.
And so, were these items that you got, these 1,000 items, were these mostly just built up from your charity shop trips, or?
No, I actually bought a load from a wholesaler. So I went to a vintage wholesaler.
Okay.
And the first trip I went, basically you got to pay extra to be able to go in and hand pick your stuff. Because normally with any wholesaler, like clothing wholesaler, you just say, can I have 10 kilos of this, 5 kilos of that, 1 kilo of this. But I actually went down there. I picked out something like, I think it was £400 was my first trip. And that was my first bit of clothing I ever bought, was from a wholesaler.
Okay.
And I was like, because without an assistant, I wouldn't do clothing. You know, so. But yeah, now since then, I'm flicking through charity shops, going like this. I'm in car boot sales in those big piles on the floor. You know, so.
It's another niche for you to look into. Peter Cummins has a question for you. He says, do you think RA is worth getting into now, or is the margin just not there for newbies?
I'd say it is still, you know, it depends how much money you want to make, really. I wasn't making as much as I was, so the money's not as much as it used to be. But I think if you see a deal, you know, if you're scanning something for £3 and it's selling for 15 quid, you know, it's worth sending in. But if that's the only deal you find that month, it's kind of not worth it, is it really? Especially if you're really good at doing eBay. Why not just be really good at doing eBay and not just kind of float in between the two, looking for, you know, because if you're spending time, what I was finding myself doing was finding more time in Tesco's, you know, rather than in charity shops. And, you know, they're all a gamble, really. You don't know what you're going to find half the time.
Welsh Thrifter has a question for you, Ryan. Says, do you see yourself reselling in 10 years?
Hopefully, yeah. With 4 assistants. That would be nice. So, yeah, I do, yeah.
So you've actually got like a game plan. This isn't something that you want to.
Well, so my plan right now would be to actually buy a unit where I could do everything from and open it to the public as well. So I could do maybe cash for clothes, then pick my own stuff out. Do you see what I mean? After I've given them cash for clothes, and then just get rid of all the old stuff. Like, I don't know what they do with them. They sell them to somebody, don't they? And they ship them abroad.
Yeah.
that would be a nice idea. But I looked into it, and you need at least 30 grand, 40 grand just to start that kind of business, really, realistically, you know?
Sure.
So
So you are looking to delegate and get assistance and get help and just grow, basically. You're not,
I think
you're,
the
you're
only
not,
way to
yeah,
grow is through assistance, don't you think? Because
yeah,
it's, you know, you got Bex doing the clothing on her store. You know, I bet, you know, all right, they might not do a lot her store per month, but you know, when you average, when you see how much she's made at the end of the year,
yeah.
I bet she'll do a really nice number for you guys, and it'll look really nice, which she wouldn't have done if she wasn't doing her own store, innit?
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for obviously having more people working on a business. Then, you know, the more, I suppose, the more you can scale
Yeah,
up. But I suppose the question is, like, a lot of people are like in it for the lifestyle.
yeah,
So, you know, like reselling, that they can imagine themselves even when they're in their late 50s, 60s, still getting up early, going to a boot fair, and, you know, the thrill of the hunt, like you said,
yeah,
and then, you know, doing the listing process, making their income themselves, that sense of the hustle, I suppose. Whereas it seems like you're quite up for just growing and
yeah.
outsourcing these tasks.
The thing is, it gives
Yeah,
you a great lifestyle. To be honest, you know, over the last, well, say 5 years, say, like I've watched my kid grow up from, you know, like I now have my son quite a lot, you know, more,
yeah,
you know, pretty much more half the week, you know.
yeah,
And the thing is, I've watched him grow up. I can go to all his concerts, or because the school, they don't like wait today for people to finish their nine to five job. They do things at
sure.
Aberystwyth, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
so
it's
you know, I can go to every single thing for my kid. I can take him to school. I can drop him off. You know, I can pick him up. You know, and that's been priceless over the last 5 years. Like, how can you put a price on picking your kid up and dropping him off every day? You can't, can you? Which, when I was working 3 jobs, well, it wouldn't have been possible, would it? You know?
yeah. That's very true. I mean, there are certain benefits, definitely. Sib K's got a question that he says, might have been asked at the start, what did you do before this, and what does the family think of what you do? And you've mentioned of, like, you know, what do you have, like, an end goal? Like, what would you say your end goal is?
Um, what I did before, the 3 jobs I had, I was doing 2 janitor jobs, cleaning, just cleaning toilets, cleaning. It was a showroom. It was a car sales, so it was just a general cleaner. And then I did actually become area manager for that cleaning company. But the thing was, their managers only got paid 14 grand. Because where I live, you think the national average is 25 grand. Well, my national average over here is about, most of my friends all on 15 grand a year, you
Yeah,
know. So
yeah. I mean,
they're
I think
having a laugh if
the
it's
national
25.
average wage is a big hoax.
I
I
guess
mean,
if you take a
yeah,
£15,000 wage and then a £5 million wage and average it,
yeah.
I guess it is quite high.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, this national average wage was 28 grand a year.
Yeah,
Even in London, the majority of the jobs down there that a lot of regular people have, like regular service jobs, they're
yeah,
not getting. No one's paying them even close to that kind of money. Even respectable companies like Sky
yeah,
or whatever, or Nestle, whatever what name you want in there,
yeah.
not many people are getting above 28 or 20. You know, like you said,
Well,
it's
my dad
national.
works in HSBC Bank as
Yeah.
like one of the top tech managers in. Well, he's not a manager, but he works in the top tech part of his HSBC
Yeah.
like building, and he's only on 32 grand, and that's because
Yeah.
6 grand of that is because of his bonus.
There you go.
You know, so even take his bonus out, and he's got to jump around hoops to get that bonus. He's got to be a
Yeah.
good boy, you know. You know what it's like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you want to just see it for yourself, just look in the jobs section and look at
Yeah,
what wages people are offering.
yeah.
There aren't a huge amount you know, which are offering way
The,
above that.
the
Um,
end goal, I'll answer the end goal question, is just to be mortgage free, really. And that's been my like end goal since I started. But like, so as soon as my kid was born, I was like, right, I need a house.
yeah.
Save up for a house, jump through hoops to try to get a mortgage, and then try to pay off my mortgage. That would be the end goal, really. And just keep enjoying the process. I just love the process, really.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that from your Instagram posts during the day. I
Yeah,
mean, when I do get on there, you see, you know, you can clearly tell you get a buzz and
yeah.
you're
When you
enjoying.
get on it, when
Yeah,
once a week, you are a bit slow.
you
Isn't it?
know
The
what,
quickest platform on the internet.
I'm still trying to Bex on it well, much more. So
Yeah,
she prefers it. So I'm trying to get a bit more Insta savvy, but I'm a
Yeah.
bit behind the
Maybe
times
sure
there.
you are. I know that's what it is.
Krillin has super chatted again. You don't have to super chat every time you want to ask a question, Krillin, but it is appreciated. $5 super chat. It says, "Do you ever source in Europe? Is it too far? Do they still not like the Brits? Do they not have boot sales like they do in the UK?" Have you ever sourced in Europe, Ryan? Have you ever
Never
thought?
know.
No, no.
Actually, I have bought stuff from a site that came from Germany
Okay.
for retail arbitrage. Yeah. So Germany,
Retail
I guess.
arbitrage. There you go. Yeah. They do have their own versions of boot sales, depending on which country you're talking about. They all have their own way of doing it. I don't think they don't like us. I would say, and it's not too far. A lot of people do travel, especially to France. I know obviously Celtic traders have made videos about them visiting the brocantes in France,
Yeah.
and that is quite a thing. So
You see it though, don't you? On what is it, like Antique Road Trip or whatever, when they buy stuff over there and then they
yeah,
bring it over here, and they don't
yeah,
cost it none of the van trip, no, none of the accommodation, nothing on BBC. It's crazy.
yeah, definitely.
All fake.
Okay, just have a quick look through the chat. Actually, um, a few comments about phone calls and things. Okay. Ryan Brown has a question. Do you check out the items at the auction on a viewing day before when you're bidding, or?
Yeah, I always go. Well, I don't always go. So if I miss a viewing day, I'll just hope for the best, really. And sometimes you'll bid on shoes, for example, and it'd be two left shoes, and you've just paid 12 quid for them, And, but the thing is, if you're earning enough, you've got to absorb some of these costs anyway over the month, really. So you take some, you win some and you lose some, I guess. But yeah, I try to go all the time.
You're quite nonchalant about that, Ryan, but
Well,
that is something that doesn't come easily to people.
yeah,
That taking that risk and accepting that
yeah,
not everything you're going to go for is going to be a winner. I mean, like,
yeah.
how did you get to that mindset?
It's just the way I am, really. I am quite like, the thing is, I'm in a position now where I wouldn't say life is comfortable, but because I still got a mortgage and I still got to pay bills every month and stuff. But I think as you go along, if you're sending up like loads of stuff to Amazon, you can't get upset because you've just sold 1,000 units and you got 20 back, say, because I've done that before where I've sent up like 100 things of one item, but I've had like 5 returns maybe. But I've worked out the profit to the loss, and there's always more profit in it. And it's the same with eBay, It's just look at it like every 3 months I look at it. So I don't know. I just take a punt most of the time.
I think that's a good way of talking about it, because oftentimes you will hear people getting upset when they've had returns, or they feel like it's like a wave of returns. But a lot of the times, if you look at your returns percentage, for most people it's going to be around 3% and under, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
well, I checked mine earlier and it's 1.8%.
yeah.
But I'm set. I can't remember exactly how many things I'm selling. That's on eBay.
Yeah.
So 1.8% returns on eBay, and I'm selling around about say 150 to 250 things per month.
Yeah.
It varies a lot because it just depends how I'm listing, really. Just depends.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a very key thing to mention, though, that overall you got to be able to, like you mentioned earlier, like over the year sometimes is how you have to look at things. You have to look back and
that's
like,
a good example, because I don't know how people will feel about this, but I pay myself once a year. So
okay.
I don't know. Obviously, you take money out per week as you need.
Yeah,
it,
exactly. As we go, yeah.
But the thing is, I pay myself once a year in January. Do you know, after you've had Q4, I've got rid of all my retail arbitrage. I've got rid of, most, like I sell a lot on eBay for fourth quarter last year, but once I've got that, and then your bank should be at its biggest, really, because you've got rid of all your investments from previously in the year.
So all that stock that sat behind you, yeah. All that RA that you've got stored
away. I've got to
away.
make that wage last then throughout the year, so.
You have to be careful, definitely.
Yeah, you can't just go buying stuff.
No, you can't. Sib K says Ryan works and a big number in percentage more than Nazi. Yes, I think we all know that. I think it's not.
No, I don't know how you feel. You're going to go over 1,000 listings in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I'm going to be
Because you've just picked up
knocking them
enough
out.
stuff
Yeah, it's going to happen.
to get listed. You could get the girls listing with you. Get a
Oh no,
little.
they're not going to get in on. They're not going to get in on it.
They want too much money, will they?
Oh yeah, they're not into it at all. They don't find it interesting whatsoever. Um, right. Okay. Let's have a look if there's any more questions in the chat. Um, gosh, oh, there's a lot of banter as you'd expect.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, a lot of comments.
I'm not looking at the comments, guys, so I'm not ignoring
Yeah.
you just because I can't get it up on my screen.
Yeah, exactly. How many questions have yeah, we've answered quite a few questions. So if there's any questions, yeah, put capital questions and we will do our best, or I will do our best to get there and answer them. So bear with us because I'm not the best at scrolling through the chat. Carla has joined the chat as well. So hi Carla, good to see you. Ryan Brown says, "I wonder if the risk is worth if most items are electrical." I don't know. I don't tend to get. I don't feel I get like a huge amount of returns considering the amount of electrical items I buy. So I mean that's just my personal experience. When Ryan, do you go into electricals as well, or?
Yeah, I'll buy anything. I sold a lot of radios on eBay that was in auction. You know, like the DJ decks. Some of the
Yeah.
highest price things that I've sold, they're all electrical.
And what would you say your experience has been for in terms of returns and things? Because a lot of people, I mean, I've just seen a comment from One Man Riot saying for every electrical item I pick up that works, I find just as many that don't. So I've stopped buying them now.
Yeah, the thing is, with the electricals, I find you get they worth a lot in parts anyway. And you know, if something's really bad, like I sold the radio the other day for, I think it was only 12 quid, I think it was. But, it's worth 12 quid, like, and it was in really bad condition. And I picked it up
Yeah.
for 2 quid. So, all right, yeah, the profit's not massive, but there is profit there. And that's what I think, So if it's worth, 10 quid or 100 quid, pick it up for 2 quid, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to echo that point that sometimes even faulty electricals will cover you. So recently I picked up like a Canon camera with lens, and unfortunately the camera had bent pins on the card slot. I've just sold the camera now for like 25 quid, the body. The lens is going to get me around 80. So overall, that's like £100 plus of turnover from my was it £50 that I put in. It would have been a lot more had the camera worked, but even though it didn't, it was still profitable. So I
think describing electrics is a really important thing as well, because even if it's got a scratch, or like I sold this I was like a DJ deck, and it connects into the back of a speakers go in the back. Right. And one of the discs was, do you know when it went in, like first goes in, the disc would like skip a little bit first, and I don't know why, but after that initial skip, it wouldn't skip at all. I knew these at about £400. I listed it for 250, got loads of offers around 150, 180. But you think about that, right? This is a £400 item, and people are willing to pay. Well, I actually sold it for 190 in the end for a faulty item, because it was faulty. And that's 190 quid for a faulty item that I paid 20 quid for. So
definitely. Lucy T says, does Ryan go to charity shops or just buy in bulk? We did answer that earlier, but do you want to just quickly go over that, Ryan?
I do 50 charity shops a week, and I buy in bulk as well. So if I can do the both of them, and like if you go to the wholesale, I'll just say, right, Tuesday I'm going to the wholesale, Thursday, Friday I'll go to the charity shops, Saturday, Sunday car boots.
Yeah. Carla comments on you're paying yourself in January for the year. Says, I'd starve to death by March. I pay myself on Sunday nights, says Carla. Yeah. You have to do what works with you, right?
But the thing is, what I do is I pay myself the wage. That money goes into my savings account, obviously minus any tax you might owe. And then I pay myself monthly out of that savings account from my personal account, So it's not like I've got just one, number in my account and I'm just using it at free will.
Yeah. Right, just getting back in here. Question: does Ryan buy from charity shops? Yeah, we've done that. You do buy from charity shops. You visit like 50 a week. That was my least. Um, does Ryan watch other eBay YouTubers, and if so, who's his favorite?
Well, Zahia as
Oh,
well.
you would
Watching in
say
my
that,
phone
wouldn't you?
now. I watch everyone. Well,
Yeah,
I watch Mrs. M, Nick. To be honest, they kind of just on in the background, so I
yeah,
just let him play. Really, I watch Smart Reselling as well.
yeah. Well,
Even though he does
you're
a video
busy.
every 6 months now, which is not good enough. So pull your finger out. But yeah,
So,
I like it on in the background while I'm packing.
have you found that it's helped in any way? Would you say? I mean, considering you were already doing this, really, weren't you,
The
before a lot of
community
this
kicked off.
YouTube stuff? I mean,
Well, I watched Nick when
yeah,
he
yeah,
when I found Nick's channel. He
yeah,
was 2 videos in, I think. And I just thought, oh, this is cool. Someone else doing it, similar to
yeah.
what I. But I was more Amazon then, so I was like, oh, he's doing eBay because he didn't do as much Amazon then.
No,
And I was like, oh, this is cool. So, but yeah, I picked up loads of products just from listening to videos. It's like if you want clothing, you go and see Mrs. M. If you want hard goods, you see yourself. Electricals, you come and see yourself. But I think we all know it's like fishing stuff. I know a lot. Like I made some really good money on like fishing rods, fishing reels, fishing bags, fishing hats, fishing coats. You name it, fishing. I know about it because it's just what I used to like.
yeah. Adam Kelsey's got a question for you. He says, do you explore new towns for charity shops, often broadening the search area, or do you keep with the regular ones? That's a good question.
Well, yeah, that's why there's 50 because I do. I think in total, I think there is 5 different towns I hit. But I live just off the M4,
All
so I
right.
can kind of go from anywhere in the south really within 10 or 20 minutes, which is great for me.
Are you looking to broaden that group
But
of
I do go up
50?
as well north a little bit, but they're not called in Wales. They are not called charity shops. You know what? The more north you go, like when you go into these rural little cottages as you go through everywhere, they call community uh, centres. So the money that's community charity shops, and the money that's raised in them community ones only stays in the community, not like Oxfam, and it goes all around the country or
Sure,
pays for a
sure.
celebrity to go abroad, that kind
So,
of money.
so it goes to the local area.
Yeah, which is pretty
Okay.
cool.
And so how far do you think you're going to expand your radius of
Not
shops?
not any further now. I
Not any
think
further.
I can do 50 in 2 days. Really, it doesn't take very long. But the thing is, it depends if you go there and there's a load of new games you got to look through, and especially if you're looking through clothing. Clothing takes the longest, really.
Okay. Welsh Thrifter's got a question. Says, what's the biggest mistake you've made while reselling?
Not sticking to it when I was 18. That was probably my biggest mistake, really, because I had a shop going, it was making money.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I never, and I used to, even then, I had the fishing store doing the wholesale business.
Yeah.
But even then, I used to go off and buy job lots. Like someone would quit fishing and they would sell all their fishing stuff in one lot. I would go and buy that and sell it on eBay, even then, when I was 18 and 19. So I should have stuck to it really and just kind of widened my search.
So looking back with hindsight, it gives you that comfort, doesn't it? That knowing that if
Yeah.
you'd stuck with it, but
Yeah,
everyone
because
has to go through their path, don't they, to get to
yeah,
where they are.
because
So
like after I quit, I did all sorts of jobs. I did some bricklaying, I did some van driving, I did some lorry. And it is easier. You will earn not technically more money going 9 to 5, but I think you can earn more consistent money. But it doesn't give you the lifestyle you got.
which would says hello, which would dreams. Southwest Seller says broken RCs also go well after a certain reseller breaks them. Don't know what you're talking about, Southwest Sellers. Uh,
You could have chopped your head. You could have sold your head actually, if that helicopter whipped it off that day.
yeah, oh yeah. I'm glad I got out of that. It's not something I'm keen to repeat. Um, wow. I think I've just lost the chat. Keeps on just scrolling by. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
it jumps down, doesn't it?
Yeah, it jumps down.
6,000
Okay.
people are joining.
There we go. I've just found it. Ryan Brown says he's tempted to take wire strippers, plugs, and fuses to auction so you can wire on a plug and test it if needed. I don't think they'd let you do that if the wire's been cut off, would they? I'm not sure if they
You
would.
take a battery and just hold the ends on and see if it
Yeah,
fires up.
yeah. Kieran Ma asks, is it important to sell items ending in 99p instead of a rounded figure? What's your opinion on that pricing?
It depends what the market says, really, I guess. Like, do you know, if you find a lot of items around $14.99, for example, sometimes I'll price that item £1 less, so like $13.99, but I'll add £1 onto the postage. So, you know, but I generally charge $3.99 postage for everything now. There's nothing I even like things.
But with your pricing, would you ever sell something at 20 quid rather than 19.99 when you price it?
Yeah, I do sometimes, yeah.
You do,
especially on Amazon, because you know, on Amazon, if you price something £20, it's the difference between someone getting free postage from Amazon and not.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
definitely makes sense. Witchwood Dream says, I went into a local auction last week and got, you're that lady then, when I approached to pay with an armful of stuff from the £1 rail. Oh. Okay.
But better not be a return, I will not be happy. Up that 1.82%.
Yeah. Links off eBay aren't allowed. Okay. Just trying to, oh god, it's just jumped again. Damn it. It keeps on jumping. Right. Question: is the number of Welsh resellers suspiciously high, and should they be properly controlled? Says Sib K. Oh, he's always got the best questions, does Sib?
There's a few Welsh people around, actually. I haven't actually seen. Do you know when you go to a car booth, you just know, don't you? Really,
you can tell, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, carrying a bag, looking suspicious. They all look suspicious as well, like they're walking around with AK-47s or something. And they just kind of like going, oh, they're all sketchy, on edge.
Celtic Trader says, fortunately, no one knows where I'm from as I don't have a Welsh accent. Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, the chat is just among doing its own thing. Adam Kelsey, George Ross has a question. Do you ever delve into antiques or vintage items?
I have done, yeah. I got some stuff. I sold a vintage Stanley plane in its box. Picked it up for like 80 pence, I think it was. It was under £1 anyway, because I had loads of stuff and she had 80, 50. And I sold it for like 50 quid. Which was a nice, from a quid, say, to
vintage quid. DIY stuff can fetch good money, can't it?
Especially a good name like Stanley, in its box.
I thought I'd gotten a nice vintage saw, but I don't think I have because it's been up listed for ages and no one wants it.
At least you can use it.
Yeah,
I bought that Salter antique sewing machine. I think, that give me like £30 profit. If it's there and it looks good to me, I'll just buy it.
Yeah. Adam Kelsey asks, when you are mortgage free, will you dial back the listing / work effort just to maintain a steady income, or will you find a new goal to aim for? That's a good question.
If I was mortgage free today, I'd be going out buying a unit straight away. But, so it's kind of like my mortgage is first priority before buying another place to work from.
So you'd definitely be expanding then.
Yeah.
So you're not someone to sit back on your achievement. So once you've gotten mortgage free, you wouldn't just take it easy.
Yeah. Well, I only just turned 30 2 weeks back, so I'm a bit too young really to be
taking it easy.
Yeah, I know I look 40, but maybe
I
should retire when I'm 40. I don't know. Hopefully. Well, my plan is to be mortgage free by the time I'm 35. Now, that's like my when you set yourself goals. That's my goal in life, I guess. To be happy, free, and all this other stuff. But financial goal is to be mortgage free when I'm 35.
But that's not necessarily meaning that that your passion to work and to achieve more. Those are two separate things. I think sometimes people link finances with what you do for your, what you do for your living. It's together, and they're actually quite separate, aren't they? Because if you love what you do, you're not going to suddenly stop, are you?
That's the thing. I enjoy eBay, more than I enjoy Amazon right now, because Amazon's just kind of like box it up, chuck it up. But eBay, I do enjoy the process of hunting it down, listing it, postage. Even postage isn't too bad for me now, because I bought boxes. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram post when I showed all the boxes, all the pre-ordered boxes that I buy in.
I didn't see it.
No,
I need to
you
get
come
on
on
there.
once a week. Yeah, you need to up the game.
I need to get on there.
I mean, you probably have 10K subs now if you was on there. See, but you're letting yourself down. But I buy all my boxes in. I buy all my bags in. I buy everything in now. So it's not, I don't know if you do it, but you like struggle to make a box. Not struggle, but get annoyed that you can't find a box for an item.
I think definitely it's one of those things. You can make your life as easy or as difficult as you want by being prepared or not. Just because I can always make a box up, but it takes time, doesn't it? It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of stress. The other day, thankfully, this was one of the few occasions that I'd planned something in advance. So I had these speakers for sale. So I knew that one day they were going to sell. So I actually bought boxes.
Confident, I like it.
Yeah, I was very confident. I knew they were going to sell. I thought, well, when they sell, I don't want to then be making boxes up and this and that and the other. So I actually went out and bought boxes beforehand. So when they sold, it was so much easier because I had planned ahead. And it's about having the right tools for the job, isn't it? And I think having like different size, packaging is such a simple thing, but it's worth doing, definitely.
You charge for it in the postage anyway. Like I charge $3.99 for 90% of my stuff I send off. I don't do anything cheaper than $3.99.
Yeah.
So even after that the fees come off, there's at least 20 to 50 pence in there just for packing materials, like tape, boxes, bags, whatever it may be. So
especially if you don't enjoy packaging, it can be the difference between a really stressful morning when you're packing orders or a much calmer one.
It comes down to quantity too. If you're sending off, say, like some of the people on Instagram, like I can't remember who it was, but someone was sending off 58 parcels this morning.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, but even so, just if you've got everything set up perfect, that's going to take some time. I think I sent out 27, it was close to 30 because I had 3 sales in today. So I sent off 30, but just packing those 27 in one go is really hard work sometimes, especially when you're rummaging around looking for a box. I used to just lose my head. I couldn't cope. So I was like, bang, let's order some boxes.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really smart move because it just does make it much easier when you've got like a selection. I mean, I've slowly started to be buying them, since we've been getting those vouchers for to buy supplies.
Vouchers,
I know they're overpriced, but like whatever boxes are available. So you may as well. And I've got like stacks of little boxes now building up, and it makes it a lot more comfortable. It just takes the stress out of it, definitely. Pete's Retro Collectible says I went to £3.50 and didn't make much difference. I think most buyers are pretty reasonable about things, as long as you're not overdoing it. I think £3.50 shouldn't put people off. A Southwest seller says $2.99 postage will not cover eBay fees on the postage. Because they take 10%. They do. But it's another cost of business, though, isn't it? So even if you sometimes have to eat a little bit of that, it's not the end of the thing.
I was actually talking to Adam the other night, and he charges $2.99 shipping, and then I said, oh well, they take out 10%. So it's not actually like if you're sending something for $2.79 with terms, it's actually you're getting less from the postage. But if you're making £50 profit on that item or £10 profit, what's a couple of pence really, in the grand scheme of things? Because it is a quantity game, I think, and I would love to be selling 2 or 3 times as much as I am now. And then everything else is like the postage just all adds up.
All right, cool. So doesn't it daunt you, though, that you're going to just be selling more and more volume? Or is that just how you prefer it, or you just feel that's generally the way to grow, is just quantity?
I think personally, from what I sell and what everyone else I've seen selling is, unless you're selling, like if I could get DJ decks and pay £40 every single day and sell them for £200, everyone would do that. But realistically, what's in abundance is clothing, you know, your 10, 15, 20 pound items that you can pick up for 2, 3 quid, you know, most of the time. So why not? You're not, if you're going to leave all of those 5, 10, 20 pound profit items behind, open for £100 profit, you know, yeah, okay, it is more hassle and
See,
it is more
I
work.
think I'm a bit of a dreamer because sometimes I like to think that I can do it.
You
You
could
know,
do it, but you'd have to focus and source only high ticket items.
which is not easy,
You
like
know?
you said.
No,
But
it's not.
I'd
I don't
love,
think you can do it because I've
yeah,
tried, and even if you're doing a wholesale, I can get items for like to sell for £500, but I can buy them for £300. But then you've got to, you know, you need enough money backing you
to
to
do that enough times.
yeah, and then hope it sells because that's what
Yeah,
you're doing, really.
yeah, yeah. I think you've got a good point there, and it does make
You
sense
you
that,
should be on at least 1,000 listings,
yeah,
quality listings. I'll have you that
yeah.
quality.
I think that's the thing. I mean,
It upsets me
I
about
was near
300 at the
that.
minute.
Yeah, I was near that, but I did get
You
rid of
got
a lot of.
800, was you?
I was over 800, and then
Yeah.
I got rid of a lot because some of it I just
But that's a
didn't.
learning experience, see? And
Yeah,
like I've learned a lot from not just watching other people. Like I look at random stores and I think to myself, wow, look at this guy, he's selling everything's over 80 quid or whatever. And then I think,
yeah,
well, I just can't get that stuff. I don't know where he's getting it from.
mm,
But you know, I've gone to car boots and I found like, you know, jackets worth 50, 60 quid and stuff. But I just don't find them. Like yesterday I went to 2 car boots and I spent 30 quid and there was nothing high ticket in there. You know, it was
yeah,
probably £150 turnover back, you know, which is
yeah,
a couple of quid profit. But you know, if there's nothing big there, I wasn't going to leave those items behind just because they're low ticket and
yeah.
you know,
Like you said, I think it is about trying different things, and you
yeah,
know, in the end, you've as long as you're learning from it and doing the right thing. I mean, like you said, I mean, with the stuff that I've picked up, I'm expecting my number of listings to shoot up, but hopefully they'll be shooting up with items which are going to
sales,
be selling for more than a tenner.
yeah.
Which would
I
be
think
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
because my average selling price isn't much. I think it's 25, £24 on average per month.
Mm.
So you know, it's a quantity game. And if you could do 1,000 items every month, like selling 1,000 items every month at 25 quid,
Yeah.
you know, you're doing all right, then you really.
Yeah. Lucas Jones says pay more money for the items. It's unrealistic to be able to turn 40 into 200. Why not pay 150 for the decks and make 30 after fees?
Well,
But
do you know if they were guaranteed working
yeah,
and they were, you know, I would well, if they were in better condition, you could sell them for more. It just
yeah,
depends, really, you know. Like some
yeah,
decks, as you know, go for thousands,
yeah.
don't they? Some of them.
I think he's going by the rationale. He's just said that there will
Yeah,
be a lot more of them at 150 than
yeah.
at 40,
I
which is
bought
true.
actually Nikon D5100. I think I paid like 210 for it just to make 50 quid profit. You
Mm,
know, so I paid 210. I sold it for like three, or just under three, 290, I think it was. You know, so after fees and everything, I'm only coming out with 40, 50 quid profit.
but it was a quick sale, I'm
It
guessing,
was
because
well, it was
yeah,
super quick. It was gone the
yeah,
next day, I think. And the thing
yeah,
is, I already got a Nikon, so I kind of knew exactly what it was. I didn't have to check it up. I didn't have
sure,
to do nothing, you know.
sure. Well, we've actually already been talking for over an hour. We've got 93 people with us still, which is fantastic. Really enjoyed chatting with you, Ryan. It's finally good to
Yeah,
actually get
nice to,
someone from the chat onto the chat.
yeah, it's
Because
been
it's
nice.
always great to hear how people do things differently, and it's definitely going to be following you a lot closer on Instagram. I'm going to up my Instagram
Yeah.
game.
We'll say I know when you delete the Instagram straight away.
No, 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 no. I'm
You want
gonna.
to follow Bex, you do around, and then she'll show you the stories.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I have to ask her how to get to my messages and stuff. I just get like, what? I
It's
just
the
don't.
most simple application in the
It's
world.
not. It's not. It's meant to be simple, but I don't think it
You're the
is.
OBS king now, so
OBS is different. um, Sib has to put in. I wish there was an interpreter. Oh, not. Yeah, very funny.
he knows
But
exactly what I'm on about.
exactly. Just to say, guys, you can check out Ryan's YouTube channel as well. I've put a description in the box below. And obviously, if you can follow him on hashtag RyanFit247 on Instagram, I'm sure he'd be very appreciative. So thank you very much, Ryan, for joining us, and thank you everybody in the chat as well. If you enjoyed the chat, hit the like button. Adam says, Z, aren't you a tech guy? I just can't get my head around Instagram. I don't know why.
Adam, if there's not an i7 involved, he's not interested.
it's
That's fact.
yeah, so I appreciate very much, guys. Kirsten has just subscribed as well. So she says, thank you very much. And we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.
See you next time.